The year is 1997. On a cold, dark November's night in London, a woman was about to give birth to one of the world's most aesthetic and most powerful men that anyone has ever seen. My name's Dan, and this is me. Obviously, this wasn't my starting point when I decided I want to try and be a monster in the gym, so let's fast forward to 2017 to where it all began. Here I am at 20 years of age. I was quite a normal teenager. I liked sports, football, boxing, the occasional game of squash, that sort of thing. I had no real interest in the gym, health, nutrition, etc. You know, I was busy playing Xbox, eating McDonald's and masturbating. Wait, no, math, debating, wait, cut that. I remember the exact point in my life where it hit me. I was at a music festival and I recall looking at this picture of me and my mate analysing whether a twig was bigger than my arm or not. I went back home and took a picture of myself, and it is quite evident that my nipples were in fact touching each other. I thought, yeah, I'm tired of being skinny. I need to hit the gym, bro. And so I did. Cue the motivational and hardcore training montage. After about 2 months of training, I started to flex my chicken wing muscles to see if there was any progress. Hang on, I think, yeah, is there a bit of progress there? I stuck at it, and I was determined to become a sick gym bro. Are you ready for my 1 year progress pic? Are you sure? Alright. This was 1 year's progress. As you can see, I was no longer a virgin gym goer. The chest gains were showing, the abs were showing. I loved it. I was able to go to festivals, and for the first time in my life I was able to show off my physique and, you know, be proud of it. Showing off your hard work is always nice, and you can tell when people appreciate your struggles and the graft you put in yourself. During that summer I continued to train hard. I met a new fellow gym bro at this time in my first gym, in which we began training every day, and it got to the point where I couldn't wait to finish work just so I could get to the gym and lift some weights. It was honestly like an addiction. And I must say, at this point I wasn't really bulking. I mean, I was eating a lot more than usual, but I think that comes natural when you're lifting anyway. But you know, I wasn't eating 3 entire cows a day, but I was in a surplus. And to be honest, eating to gain weight was extremely difficult. You know, I was a skinny kid with a fast metabolism, and as you can imagine, I was eating very large calorie meals and then pretty much crapping it back out again. Actually, now that I think about it, that could have been IBS. Anyway, fast forward to the beginning of summer 2019, where I really wanted to showcase the results from the hours I was putting in at the gym. From looking at my arms, you can see they've got a lot bigger and nowhere near as skinny as they were. That summer I went on a lad's holiday to Spain, and here you'll see, in my opinion, the best I've looked. As you can tell, I've gained a lot more size around my general body frame. This was my Baywatch application. They didn't get back to me, so I can only assume their emails were down or something, but this was one of the moments where I went, whoa, damn, I look big. And compared to when I was skinny, this was a milestone for me. And this was literally me on the last day, where my body was craving food. I mean, look how lean I looked there. I mean, I was literally living off cheap booze, crisps and junk food for about a week. The holiday come to an end. I came home depressed because I had to go back to work, but happy at the same time because it was time to get back on track at the gym. However, things took a turn. One day, around September time, I watched a video of Muhammad Ali boxing and thought, yeah, I'll give it a go. And so I did. I kept lifting weights, but now I started to learn how to box too. I noticed as the months went on, I started to lose some of my size due to the amount of cardio I was doing compared to weightlifting. Although I looked lean and ready to fight, I was a bit gutted that the hard work I'd put myself through to get to that shape in the first place was starting to decrease. However, I thought it was time. The world was about to see Dan Razor Ridpath show off his boxing skills, and Eddie Hearn was going to offer him a deal to go pro. But before that, I sort of went to Miami. I had this trip booked months ago and the fight was in December. My trip to Miami was in November, so talk about bad timing. I was torn between two minds. One side was telling me, be good, Daniel. Focus on what you eat. Be sensible. The other side was telling me,
stop being a pussy. Eat until you can't feel your legs and get drunk, you pussy. Pussy!
After a long and hard no, not really. I lived it up. By that I mean drank a lot of alcohol, made daily trips to the International House of Pancakes, and just ate whatever I want, to be honest. In a way, I was kind of lucky because we walked around a lot in Miami, so we was actually burning a lot of calories while we were consuming quite a high amount of calories, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, this is where I got my favourite picture of myself to date. As you can see, the chest, shoulders, arms and abs are still intact, and it was weird. I did lose some muscle while I was training for boxing, but I must have somehow maintained my physique prior to the Miami trip. Here I am trying to get my best slow motion video of me somewhat doing a David Hasselhoff type entrance, however I just don't pull it off at all. As you can see, I actually almost stack it and fall over, just the complete opposite of smooth, really. Yet look at my friend's one. I'm sorry, but that bird was a paid actor. I mean, look at it! Why couldn't that have been me? Anyway, my time in Miami was over and I returned back home, preparing to get my head punched in by another angry guy. After last minute grinding and putting myself through the paces, it was time. I was ready to fight. After intense fighting, movement, fainting, blood and guts and gore, not really. I did win though, and we hugged it out at the end. Aww. Christmas and New Year's followed shortly, and as you can imagine, I was treating myself, not really taking my nutrition seriously, just living, I guess. New year, new goals. I wanted to get huge as f***, mate. I wanted legs like a horse, shoulders like a kangaroo. I wanted to absolutely kill it in the gym, and that's what I began to do. I forced myself to never skip a leg day. I was pushing hard, and as you can see, I was slowly morphing into a gladiator. But then, not only the nation, but the entire world received news that made everything stand still. I was lost. I was devastated because I had no gym equipment at home. I sank into a deep state of sadness. Until I just thought, f*** it. We don't know how long this is going to be, so let's just order some stuff. I ordered a punch bag to hit, improvised by using clothing rails as pull-up bars, copped some new weights, and even a bench. And I kept at it. At this point, I wasn't really bothered about cutting, because at that rate, we wasn't going to have a regular summer anyway, so I just carried on lifting. Like here in this picture, you can tell that my chest is getting a bit wider and I was filling out. But then, I let myself slide. I basically just started eating tons of crap and doing little to no training alongside it. Obviously that's a recipe for disaster, and eventually that disaster caught up with me. For pretty much the rest of that year, even when restrictions were lifted, I was just basically eating and drinking whatever I saw in sight. Which is not a bad thing, it's good to have a balance, but when it's in excess, yeah, don't do that if you're trying to chase an aesthetic look. Anyway, this is December 2020. And I remember looking at this picture and I thought to myself, Dan, what are you doing, bro? I made a promise to myself that I'd get Christmas out of the way as one last piece of enjoyment of eating whatever I wanted, and in the new year I was going to start the road to redemption. So that's what I did. This was the point where I really started to take nutrition seriously and managing my calories in order to rebuild the muscle and lose body fat at the same time. I did the best with what I had while the gyms were closed at the time, and when they opened back up I could not wait to get back in there and restore the progress I had made at the start of 2020. And it took some time, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, etc. Slowly but surely, through perseverance and persistence, I was slowly getting back to where I wanted to be. I won't lie to you, it did get boring and tedious at times. Everyone's different, but for me personally, the easiest way to track your calories was eating the same thing every day, just so I don't have to keep picking up an item of food, scanning the barcode on MyFitnessPal. I just couldn't be bothered, to be honest. I didn't get much training videos at this point, purely because I was so used to going to the gym on my own. I could only really record the results as I was going along. I carried on the routine I had until my birthday, which was in November, and you can tell the progress I had made prior to the start of the year was alright. There was still maybe a little bit of body fat which I could have got rid of before then, but I was still going out, drinking, socialising with fellow bros, etc. Because you know, you actually have to live and not just be glued to the gym. You definitely need to disconnect sometimes just to have fun. Enough of the deep talk from me. Christmas went by and I was behaving. Training resumed in 2022. At this point I was still following the plan I had previously. I had a trip to Italy booked for the start of summer and wanted to get in the best shape I realistically could. You know, I was going to the Colosseum and I wanted to make former gladiators proud. Not like they're there anymore, they're obviously dead, you know, but I'm talking like spiritually, it doesn't matter. As standard, when you arrive in Italy, your diet is going to be 99.9% carbs and not your standard intake of protein, fats, etc. Italy was nice. 10 out of 10. Would definitely recommend. Here's a picture of me pretending to be an Italian model. Returned from Italy and resumed training. And that's where we're at right now. The journey doesn't end until you decide it does. So I'll be looking to get bigger, stronger, but you'll never be satisfied. But you can be close. And that's what I'm aiming for, baby. I hope this has been somewhat informative. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to be kept up to date with more content. You know the deal. Alright. Take care, everyone. Until next time.